Peace and blessings to the chosen, Shalom. First and foremost, all praises, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim pushing his truth with sincerity and charity indeed. And a brother Yalad, and I just want to speak on the topic. It's short and hopefully quick, straight to the point. In this thing of ours, we it's a man culture. The scriptures, it teaches you how to be a man and decent and how to operate, and not to be a lion in your own house, not to be overly anxious, not to be over the top, not to be over righteous. And the topic of this video is the entreating the servants. So Sirach 7, also known as Ecclesiasticus 7 and 20, it says, "Whereas thy servant worketh truly, entreat him not evil, nor the hireling that bestoweth himself wholly for thee. Let thy soul love a good servant, and defraud him not of liberty." Okay? And this is just to show that is no abuse of them that are in lower status to you. It's no abuse, right? And there's an account, because what the scripture says, the things that are written aforetime for our learning, there's an account where this did happen. So I'm gonna go to the Sirach 33 and 31. "If thou have a servant, entreat him as a brother, for thou hast need of him as of thine own soul, If thou entreat him evil, and he run from thee, which way would thou go to seek him?" So this is the consequences if you treat your servant evil. He'll run from you. And you have to imagine the mentality of, and this is why I say the scriptures are about being a man, because Esau is a child. He called you insane. He called you drapetomaniac. He made a term for it because you wanted to run away from being tortured. You see what I'm saying? Because you wanted to run away, he called you crazy. When this is the scripture says that a servant that feels like they're being over the top abused, not disciplined, but just tortured, will run away. It's a common thing. This is a simple thing. And you have to imagine the kind of mentality you put on a man, the kind of terror you put on somebody, for a man to say, "You know what? I don't even want to see my master's face anymore. I don't want to see him. I just don't. I'm done. I'm gone. I'm out of there." You have to imagine the mentality. So this has happened in the scriptures. This is 1 Kings 2 and 36. "And the king sent and called for Shimei, and said unto him, Build thee a house in Jerusalem, and dwell there, and go not forth thence any whither. For it shall be on the day that thou goest out and passest over the brook Kidron, thou shalt know for certain that thou shalt surely die, and thy blood shall be upon thy own head." So I'm giving you a background story. Now, Shimei is the individual. It says also in this chapter that he spoke evil against David. And Solomon was telling Shimei, "Here, this is what we gonna do for your punishment, because you cussed out the king. You said this and that and all the above and this and whatnot." So, he was put and confined into a kind of like, I don't want to say house arrest, but he was confined to a certain part. And it says, "Build thee a house in Jerusalem." He was confined to a certain part of the land that he couldn't pass over the brook of Kidron. Now here's the funny part. It says, "And Shimei said unto the king, The saying is good, as my lord the king said. So So will thy servant do. And Shimei dwelt in Jerusalem many days. Right. It says, and it came past at the end of 3 years, the two servants of Shimei ran away to Achish, son of Maacah, king of Gath, and they told Shimei, saying, behold, thy servants be in Gath. So how much of a wicked person do you have to be for your servants, two of them, to say, we out of here, man. We don't want to see his face no more. How much of a wicked master do you have to be? Is you terrorizing? It's no telling, you know, what he was doing to them servants. He taking his anger out on them. You know, they probably asked for a water break. He said, "No, get back to work." Like it, you gotta imagine the amount of terror you unleashing on these men for them to just want to jet out, man. You see what I'm saying? Now, I could continue reading this, but simply to explain what happened next, Solomon, he said, did we not agree that you was gonna stay here in this place or you was gonna die? And he was like, yeah. And then, what's his name? Benaiah? I'm probably butchered it. But Benaiah. Yeah. Benaiah, Benaiah the executioner dealt with Shimei because he broke his agreement to the king Solomon. Yeah. But the point being is that in this culture of ours is that it's a balance. It's it's an honor the king. It's an honor your masters, whether they be froward or gentle. But it's also a balance that, you know what I'm saying, the law talks about if you smite your servant unto death. You know what I'm talking about. It's certain balances. You know what I'm saying. Unlike in this society, in this kingdom, Esau, he do his servants all kinds of dirty with no righteousness, with no honor at all. You see what I'm saying? That's why I brought up the drapetomaniac and how he'll switch the story and make you seem crazy. You see what I'm saying? And all of this is just coming from what happened at class recently. We talked about this for a little short while, but even how we treated the other nations. And I want to make a very great clarification before I say this is that, look, that first 1,000 years, all the nations are going to feel it. They're going to feel the punishment and the wrath because they've all participated in our captivities and our destruction. But after the 1,000 years is up, we're not going to be treating the heathen bogus. We're not going to be treating, they're going to go to their own lands. They're going to be good. They're going to rejoice in the kingdom and that we are the leadership of the earth. They're going to rejoice because it's going to be good. You know, they're going to actually have a piece of enjoyment in that kingdom, you know. But even in the past, when King Solomon was, here it is, the Hamitic nations some of them was at peace with us. And we didn't just, treat them all bad, as servants. We didn't treat them all crazy, We actually, had trade and produce among them. We treated them like an ally because that's what they were. Hiram and Sheba, they were allies to the nation. So 1 Kings 10:11, it says, and the navy also of Hiram that bought gold from Ephraim brought in Ophir plenty of almug trees and precious stones. So Hiram was giving some goods to the king, right? And the king made the almug trees and pillars for the house of the Lord Yahweh, and for the king's house harps also, psalteries for the singers. And there came no such almug trees, nor were seen unto this day. And King Solomon gave unto the queen Sheba all her desire, whatsoever she asked, beside that which Solomon gave her of his royal bounty. And she turned and went to her own country, she and her servants. So that was just two leaders from different Hamitic nations that were in league with us at that time. And, we wasn't abusing Sheba or Hiram. We wasn't, slapping him across the face, and you better give me this over the gold or something. It was like mutual. How you say just a relationship in general. So yeah, man. Oh yeah, and that show you what's that account with King Solomon? He had his servants decked out too. I think let me see if I could find it. Cause I think it was Sheba. She was wooed cause King Solomon had his servants was looking nice. You know what I'm saying? You go among Jake, you wouldn't know who the servants is because we entreat our own people well. You go amongst Esau, you'll know who the servants are quick, man. Real quick. Real quick. If I can find the scripture of what I'm quoting, I'll bring it up. Huh. Huh. If not, I'm going to just post it in the description. But just bear with me a little while. Hold on. Yeah, no, it's let me see. Okay, no, it's this chapter for sure. I could have sworn. Yep, let me see. It might be this verse. 1 Kings 10 and 4. When the Queen Sheba had seen all Solomon's wisdom and the house that he had built, and the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and his ascent by which when he went upon unto the house of the Lord Yahweh, there was no more spirit in her. And she said to the king, it was a true report I heard in mine own land of the acts and of thy wisdom. So she was wooed. She was wooed. Let me see if I get that in another translation. She was wooed by how Jake had things going, how Jake was running things. Let me see if I get this in another translation. Verse 5. Okay, yeah. 1 Kings 10 and 5. She was overwhelmed. She was also amazed at the food on his tables, the organization of his officials, and their splendid clothing, the cupbearers and the burnt offerings. So the splendid clothing, let's see if I can grab that, because even his servants was decked out in some great attire. It says clothing, apparel, right? But what does it mean to be splendid? It says magnificent, very impressive. So yeah, in the Lord's kingdom, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be all beautiful. It's gonna be wonderful. You see what I'm saying? Jake takes care of their servants better. You know. But that was just a topic I wanted to do my own video on, get my own spill out there because it just wasn't brought out. Um, it wasn't really brought out like I wanted it to be brought out. So Spirit had me just save it for later and do it on my own accord. Um, but yeah, the point is that it is no mistreatment of servants. The scripture talks about how to treat the elders and how to treat the servants, how to treat the masters, how to treat the younger. It's it's not a respect the persons, but it's also a honor and order amongst men. You know, even at one account in Esther, well the Persians said that this thing that uh what was her name, Queen uh I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna go to the Esther. Cause it was Xerxes, wasn't it? The whole point of the Purim, like the whole point of the Purim, like what was it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's either this verse or the end of this verse. Chapter. Vashti. That was her name. Yep. I'm thinking of it. So let me just put that in. Vashti. Yep. The point being is that even when Vashti was acting out, the princes in Persia, they said every woman gonna rebel against her man, whether that man be high or low in status, whether that man be a servant, a prince, or a king. Since she done rebelled against the king, you know. Let me see if I can find that though. Yeah, it was the first chapter. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Esther 1:16. And Memucan answered before the king and princes, Vashti the queen had not only done wrong to the king only, but to all the princes, to all the people that are in the province. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so they shall despise their husband in their eyes. It shall be reported when King Osiris, this it's really Xerxes. Uh, I believe that's Xerxes. It's just a different spelling. When King Artaxerxes or Artaxerxes commanded Vashti the queen to be brought before him, and she came not. So yeah, it's about treating all men with respect, is what I mean to say. The scriptures is a real man culture. It talks about if you have a disagreement with your brother or go consult him. It may not be that it's what you thought it was. It's about communicating and it's just man culture. What this world don't teach us to do. In this world it's very effeminate. They block. They do the blocking. They don't communicate. They don't address situations. They go based off of assumption. They jump to conclusion without consulting. That's what this world does. It's very, very effeminate and excuse my American, bitch made. It really is. But these scriptures, it all, even this that I pointed out, like it's about man culture. It's about respect and honor and dignity and order. So, Lord willing, I was edifying. Salakia, if that took a little bit longer than I wanted it to take, but yeah, I wanted to hit all those notes. The water for sticking around. Shalom.